Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, ladies and freaking gentlemen and all forms of human life form. Welcome back to another edition of... Shit, my pal. Okay. Welcome back to another edition of Sucking the Balls of the creators of South Park, known as Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Suck my balls.
Cradling motherfuckers.
A South Park review.
I'll cradle him. I'll take the shaft. Whatever. I'll play with the tip. Come on, just let me off here, dude.
Suck my balls. A South Park review. We're back.
I'll gargle the balls.
As we are ready to rock and roll. I'm your host, Lee, and I can't be beat. I'm your guy who's high, where the air is so very dry. Your boy, MSG. You can follow me on Twitter on Instagram at Matthew_Shaver. Each and every week, I'm joined by guys who like to tell you their stories, who likes to, give you their opinions on the varying different topics in relation to the show's pop culture, references, continuity, and of course, nostalgic features that we remember and reverence in. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. I am not alone. I am joined this week by the Mac Daddy, the OG, the S to the C, the double OP, the Scoopster.
Come on.
AKA Ian. Right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our boy, the Trivia God, the 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 Trivia Champion, Dirty Joe Vernola. He's not here this week, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and plug something. Don't forget to get your tickets for this year's edition of Slave to the Deathmatch. And you can go to Primo's Pro Wrestling on all their social medias, and you can get your tickets. And if you're in the Colorado area, you're going to see I think it's like the 13th annual Slave to the Deathmatch Scoop. Hardcore wrestling, nails, tacks, glass, tables, chairs, guys falling off roofs. Some guy might die. No, I hope that doesn't happen. But there's going to be a lot of craziness. Slave to the Deathmatch. Get your tickets now. Oh, that was for Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into this episode of Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is the 14th and final episode, Scoop, of Season 9. We've made it to the end of Season 9. Right here. We started together at 1, and here we are today on the 139th overall episode of South Park as it aired on December the 7th, 2005, and it is our 142nd episode. Stan is embarrassed in this episode, Scoop, that when his dad gets pulled over for drunk driving, Randy believes that only one thing can save him from his, ailing disease, is what he's told. And that's a miracle. And we're going to come to find out that miracle involves blood coming from a statue that is depicted in the biblical sense from a lady named Mary. But they identify her as the Virgin Mary. So when you saw this episode initially, what did you think?
It was very funny.
Very funny?
Yeah.
Do you feel like I feel like there's a lot of Catholicism undertones in this episode? Is that just me?
A little bit.
Like Joe would have been the perfect one for this one, to be quite honest, being that he was a Catholic.
Yeah, the whole higher power thing is supposed to be whatever you make it. It can be God, but they made it about God. So that was kind of, I guess, why it was a little, religiously, you can say.
Religiously.
Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. Oh, we should have done this episode drunk. That would have been hilarious.
We tried that already.
We did?
I mean, you guys were...
Oh, Joe didn't drink any.
Yeah, but he was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
The fabled episode that we're not letting the fans in on yet, but we recorded a secret episode that we don't know if we're going to air in the future, in which, people were a little intoxicated.
Like the that show where they drink and do history.
Drunk history?
Drunk history.
Yeah, but that's really well produced. Like they sit down and ask one question and they edit it, you know what I mean? And they edit along with different things. Like,
Just sit here with a glass of whiskey.
yeah, exactly. It might not be as entertaining as we think it is, and we're just sitting here drunk on a mic talking.
You rock a discipline.
You rock a discipline. I like how this episode, though, is going to start with the kids in a karate dojo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take any martial arts as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Quite a few.
Nice.
I
did as well.
Japanese karate. I took Wing Chun and Jiu-Jitsu.
Wing Chun and Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. Yeah, I just took regular karate. Worked my way up, got some belts. Then I took a little Jiu-Jitsu later when I was a teenager.
See, I got, I think, the second belt in Jiu-Jitsu. Fourth belt in that Japanese karate thing, because like my mom, my dad, me, my sisters all were doing it, and so I was getting good at it, and then all of a sudden parents stopped paying for it.
I got like the third or fourth belt in karate as a kid because I was really into karate, but then I got maybe on like the second belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't think I did it very too long. You know, that was like maybe after a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Steve at that time, though, he worked his way all the way up to a purple belt. You know what I mean? So he's fucking, he's really good.
Purple belt.
I know, right? So this episode opens up with the boys looking to get some self-defense classes here and maybe learn a little bit of discipline. A little discipline.
Discipline.
It's bangsa!
It's bangsa!
It's bangsa! Yeah!
Kataminasan, what are you doing?
I'm doing some sweet bangsa moves. I'm a little better than everyone else here.
Notice the
Erickson, you
green
must
belt
follow
behind him
direction.
as he's a
You
white
lack
belt.
discipline.
Nuh-uh, don't rack a discipline.
Minasan, you all need more discipline. True discipline.
True discipline.
Come from within.
Come from within.
We're out of time. I will see you on Tuesday. Shut up.
Yes.
So, in this situation, the boys learning some karate, and now they're going to find out that Randy, Stan's father, is a little drunk. They went down to the bar, had a couple beers with Skeeters.
With Skeeter, you know you gotta have a couple with Skeeter. Can't miss that opportunity.
Right. So
Gotta get with Skeeter.
now, after class, a drunk Randy picks them up on his way while trying to pee in a beer bottle as well. He gets followed by the police and gets pulled over. He's going to, of course, be given a DUI test. I've never been given one of these in that regard, like where you have to get out of the car and do the nose thing. I had to get out of the car one time. The guy actually made me do this. He made me get out of the car and walk a straight line and walk a straight line back. And I was like, dude, I'm not drunk. I was like, I came around that turn. I was trying to tell you, the weather right now was very high, very windy, pushed my car. Oh, and he was like, oh, I thought you said windy and I interpreted that as like you were drunk or something. Like, it's really windy outside. I'm like, okay. I guess that's maybe something a drunk person would say, but like I was just thinking it was pretty windy. It was a high wind that night. It was a monsoon area, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, that being said, Randy had to do some sobriety test. That's what it is called, the sobriety test. So he's got to do the hand to the nose thing, and as he's doing that, his pants drop and
Hold on.
Get off my ass, dickhole.
as the cops
Not
following
the
him.
police.
That's impossible. No one could do that.
Oh, crap.
Randy gets pulled over here.
Here, hold this.
Ew.
Oh, it's all warm.
Everybody just stay calm.
Ew.
No problem.
I can't. No
I know
problem.
how to deal.
I know how to deal.
License and registration, please.
What seems to be the officer problem?
Seems to be the officer problem.
Sir, why don't you step out of the car?
Okay.
Okay. His pants are falling off.
Sir, I'm going to give you a sobriety test.
Okay, no problem. Easy.
Stand over here, please. Right there. All right, now I want you to hold your arms out at your sides.
Oof.
There. I did it. See? No problem.
And now touch your finger to your nose.
It's really.
What?
It's funny. Like
Touch
you're
your
just
finger to your
asking.
nose.
Well, come on. That's impossible.
I guess
Just
a
bring
drunk
one hand
person
to your
would do
nose
this.
like this.
You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't
Okay.
do. They wouldn't do. They would go.
Hang on.
Oh right.
Hang on. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hang on.
Dude, what the hell is he doing? I think his pants are falling down.
I pick my nose.
What? What'd I do?
So now at the police station here, Randy, Park County breathalyzer,
Keep blowing.
keeps blowing.
Keep blowing.
It keeps blowing. And then he throws up.
Oh, Jesus.
Ah,
This
Jesus.
is so embarrassing. You know, Stan, I'd say that your dad Racksa Disciprine.
So next day in school, very embarrassed Stan asks his friends, of course, hey, can you, not talk about last night's events, and they're like, Kyle's like, why? He's like, it's a little embarrassing. So Kyle's like, all right, Stan, we won't bring it up. Unfortunately for Stan, as part of Randy's DUI, I guess, disciplinary action that was taken against him, community service, he now has to go and speak at a public school about the dangers of drunken driving.
Mm-hmm.
And so no matter what Stan does, it doesn't matter. People are going to find out about it. It's kind of sucks for Stan.
Yeah, kind of.
He didn't really deserve that.
No.
No kid deserves to be like embarrassed like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's your parents. It's like, why should I have to be subjected to that? But I guess that's the point of this. But I don't know if they should talk to the fourth graders. Maybe they should talk to like the sixth graders. I'm thinking like the older kids who probably would be more drinking. I don't know if I was drinking in the fourth grade.
High school, like
Yeah,
junior, senior.
Yeah, I'm not really drinking in the fourth grade.
Mm.
I mean, maybe there were kids in like inner cities based on like their upbringing, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't drink that at that age at all. So after being embarrassed in class, Randy's now obligated to attend Alcoholics Anonymous for 2 weeks as part of his community service. The meetings turn out, though, to be kind of religious, making the attendees believe that they're powerless, right? That they have to submit themselves to a higher power, some sort of God. They're not saying which God, whatever God, but you have to submit yourself to some sort of God. And Randy is kind of skeptical at first, but then, of course, as Randy does, he gets easily convinced and is then later shown to fall into a deeper depression of drinking, which we'll get into.
Because he's a hypochondriac.
He's a hypochondriac.
I want to say that this episode is in no way accurate about how Alcoholic Anonymous runs. I just want y'all to know that. Don't take this as like a example of how AA does their meetings or how it works, because it's not. Just want to say that.
Fair point. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into some clips here, and we'll recap for the listener what's going on here.
I'm supposed to tell you kids about how bad drinking is. I did a little drinking and driving. As part of my punishment, I'm doing community service work at schools like these. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it, kids?
Stand head down.
You shouldn't drink because it leads to bad things. I was in jail for the night, and well, I guess I don't know. Just don't drink.
Don't drink, okay?
If you must drink, definitely don't drive. I've definitely learned that firsthand. That's all, I guess. Well, I think we've all learned an important lesson, haven't we, class? If you don't make the right choices in life, you could end up being a big loser like Stan's dad. Drinking and driving is for idiots. Nobody wants to end up like Stan's dad, do they? I want you all to take a good look at Stan's dad and
Stan's
say,
head never comes up.
Is that who I want to be in 30 years?
Is that who I want to be in 30 years?
Getting tickets and having to go to elementary school classrooms and talk about how pathetic I am? Thank you, Mr. Marsh. I think you made your point.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh. I make a point.
Savage, Mr. Garrett.
That is fucking savage. But, I mean, it's true. If you make that mistake, that is one alternative way of having to go to jail. Just having to go be kind of publicly embarrassed, if you will, and shamed. But I guess at like if you had to do it at like a school where you were not affiliated with any of these kids, it wouldn't be too bad. You know what I mean? But to have to go to the school where your kids are at, that sucks.
Yeah, glad I never got a DUI or anything of that sort. I was stupid with my alcohol, but I wasn't dangerous.
Yeah, I never broke the law. Well, I mean, I did, but I never got caught in that sense. But it wouldn't have never been like from drugs. It was from doing stupid shit, like, more like vandalism, spray painting, breaking stuff. that kind of shit. We got bored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you find a bridge and you go under the bridge and you just tag it. You know, you make some art. I don't know. So following that, as I mentioned, Randy now.
Hello again, everyone. My
Here we
name
go.
is
So now
Michael,
we're at the AA meeting.
and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Michael.
As most of you know, I once lost my job and my family because of my drinking. But with the help of AA, I've been sober for 10 years now. Anybody have anything they want to tell the group for starters?
My name's Bill, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi,
Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
I've been using the 12-step program for about 2 months now.
2 months.
And I'm really turning my life around.
Okay.
No more blowing guys on Colfax Avenue for a pint of vodka for this cowboy.
For this cowboy.
Blowing
That's great.
guys on
And I
Colfax
understand
Avenue.
this is somebody's first AA meeting, is that
Oh,
right?
we got Randy now here.
Yes, you, sir. Stand on up and introduce yourself.
Randy gets up.
My name's Randy, and I just really like.
I just really like beer.
You have to admit you're an alcoholic.
I don't know if I'm really an alcoholic. Then why are you here?
Why are you here?
Because I got a DUI, and so I'm required to attend AA meetings for 2 weeks. I was stupid one night and drank too much and then drove a car. That was dumb, and I'm not gonna do it again.
Randy, you are powerless to make that decision. The only thing that works
Fuck.
is the 12-step program.
Time to grab
Step
another
one
beer.
is admitting that you are powerless
You're
to
powerless.
control your drinking.
That's part 1.
Only then can you move on to the other 12 steps.
So basically,
like believing that only a higher
powerless
power
and you
God
drink,
makes you stop drinking, and then
then you can
turning
just
your
drink.
life over to that God.
And you don't want to
Humbly
jump to the
asking God
steps.
to remove your
Actually
weaknesses.
admitting that you have a problem.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. I'm
I
just the
never
way they
knew
phrase it.
Alcoholics
And you lack
Anonymous was a
control in your
religious
life
thing.
to keep that
It's
problem
not
under
religious.
control.
You just
Yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah.
admit that there is some
They
kind
just
of God
reword
which
it
has
a different
power.
way.
You turn your life over to that God and ask him for forgiveness.
Ask him for
That's
forgiveness.
the 12-step program, not religion.
That's
Look, I really just need to cut down on my drinking and never drive the car drunk again.
You can't just cut down on your drinking, Randy. You need to know something. You have a disease.
A disease?
That's right. Alcoholism is a disease.
Oh boy.
You're sick, Randy. You're very, very sick.
Very sick.
And just like with most diseases, you can't cure it yourself. And it's deadly.
It's deadly.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, so now we get to the next point. Being Randy the hypochondriac, he takes it to the extreme, right? That's what I'm saying. He doesn't take it in the sense. He takes it in the literal sense.
The literal sense.
I'm powerless, so I can drink as much as I want, right?
Dad needs beer.
Like if Randy had continued to maybe go to those meetings, maybe it would have helped because then he could have got a better understanding. Like all of us, I mean, he does afterwards, but we'll get there. But like initially, it's because he just thinks he's gonna go home and drink. All right, so we jump in and Stan now coming home after being, of course, embarrassed at school, and now he's got to deal with the same issues at home as Randy is now drunk, as we mentioned.
Dad, what the hell are you doing?
Hello, Stan.
Dad, it's the middle of the day. I thought you weren't going to drink as much anymore.
No, Stan, you don't understand. I have a disease. Daddy's very sick.
It's very sick. Oh my God. Randy's ridiculous. So, Randy easily gets convinced that, as we mentioned, that he's drinking, and he's drinking more and more at his house, using a wheelchair at one point. Stan, knowing his father is a hypochondriac, tries to convince his father that he only needs to drink, in moderation. Drink less, be responsible, right? Randy insists that he can only be cured by a miracle. Stan insists he lacks a discipline.
You lack a discipline.
So all of a sudden, of course, in true South Park fashion, when Randy says, I need a miracle, I need a miracle, it cuts to the Virgin Mary. But prior to that, we have to show this scene where Randy decides to cry. Oh, we have to listen to this scene. Randy's crying and he shaves his head because he...
Stop now.
I can't, I'm sick.
He runs upstairs.
It's not fair. Why did you give me this disease?
And he's holding a beer. What's that? Fucking Clippers. Stan's got a lot of cookies and milk there. I'm just saying.
Stan.
Aw, God damn it.
Now, as we mentioned, Randy's in the wheelchair. So yeah, after this, as soon as Randy says, I need a miracle, then we cut over to this Virgin Mary, okay? And the Virgin Mary, obviously, clearly, is bleeding out of her ass on the backside, right? That's where it is. I mean, it's pretty high enough that it's coming out of her bum.
Bungy bung bung ho.
He touches it. Now, did he taste it? What does he do?
Es un milagro.
Un solagro.
Es un
He just
milagro.
knows what blood feels like. He doesn't smell it, get it analyzed.
Tom, I'm standing in the garden of St. Peter's Church.
Well, it's
in
kind of
Bailey,
hard to mistake
where-
in blood. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It looked like a little. Yeah, I think but also, like with advances in like technology, it might be easy to fool some, especially in the middle of the night.
No, I don't think that you can. The color of blood is unique.
I know, but wrestling does it pretty well, where they're using fake blood.
It still looks orange. It's still you can still tell it's.
That's
fake.
what I'm saying, though. Like you could maybe to certain people, not to everybody. That's what I'm saying. Though you might be able to fool some people.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, that's like they're not as intelligent as like regular people who are analyzing everything. Some people might just turn on and be like, "God damn, you see that boy? Yeah, blood all over his face." Praise Christ.
Praise Randy.
Praise Randy.
Can I get a Randy?
So, as following this miracle, as far as that the Virgin Mary statue is shown bleeding through a hole its ass, much to the amazement of a priest passing by. Next day, the people gather around the statue to witness more of the miracle. Some of them, of course, are hoping to get cured of the disease, and in this instance, it looks like the way to get cured is if the Virgin Mary, I guess, bleeds on your face. Spooges. Queeves. So Stan knows that, of course, that he goes into the now, I guess Stan's under the impression that his dad is being manipulated by the AA people. So he crashes their AA meeting and he's like, hey, the fuck's going on here? You got my dad all turned upside down. And he gives his own point of view. You know, saying why they told his dad he had a disease, having led a cult before, as we know. Says, why are you doing this? You know, that you're only really doing this to try and convince them when all they really need is discipline. And then he gets kicked out of the AA meeting. So let's go to that scene here. It's pretty funny. I do like the nice callback that they at least recognize that Stan, of course, was the leader of Scientology for a brief moment.
To control my drinking in my life, I put it in God's hands, and now these meetings are the most fun thing I do.
Yeah.
Who's in charge here?
None of us are in charge. We're all powerless.
We're all powerless.
Look, my
Yeah,
dad was here
yeah.
yesterday, and you all kind of messed him up by telling him he had a disease.
Alcoholism is a disease.
No, it's not. And you can't just go around saying stuff like that to people like my dad. He's kind of a hypochondriac.
It is a disease because it's a physical dependency. That makes it a disease.
No, cancer is a disease. My dad needs to drink this.
He can't quit by himself. None of us could. He needs divine intervention, spirituality.
No, he just needs a discipline.
Just
Thanks to you
need
people,
discipline.
my dad now
Discipline.
thinks he has a disease that he can't cure himself.
Discipline.
Young man, do you know anything about the 12-step program?
Yeah, and I also know a thing or two about cults. I was the leader of one for a while.
Yeah, they kick him out. They kick him out.
Damn it.
Bye, Stan.
They had to kick him out because they knew he was going to be onto them, probably,
Probably.
about whatever they were doing bad. Whatever it was, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. So now thousands of people have gathered around the Virgin Mary's anus to get her blood stank all over their face and cure their disease. So Stan goes home after that AA meeting, and what does he see? He sees his father, Randy. And what's Randy trying to do?
Get in the car and drive.
Get in the car and drive to freaking Virgin Mary.
miracle.
As the Cardinal says, it's a miracle after getting spooged on his face.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Yeah, over me.
So he got spooged. Randy's getting in the car.
Dad, what are you doing?
I gotta drive to Bailey.
Dad, you're drunk. You're not driving a car.
No, Stan, you don't understand. There's a church in Bailey. The statue of the Virgin Mary is bleeding out her ass.
What?
You say her divine ass
What?
has miraculous healing powers.
Has
Divine
miraculous-
ass blood.
Has miraculous healing
alcoholism.
powers.
I'll be back soon.
Dad, you can't drive. Your license is suspended, remember? If you get pulled over again, you're gonna go to jail for 10 years.
Damn. They don't
Alright.
fuck around.
Then you drive.
So, yep, Stan gets coerced into driving. So now Randy arrives at the place with his son.
Is that the line? Oh, God. Is this whole line people waiting to be cured?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with brain cancer 2 months ago. I feel like this is my only hope.
I know exactly how you feel. I've got alcoholism.
Oh my god.
Alcoholism. So as Randy waits in this line, he starts to try and convince Stan to cut. And they make their first cut by playing the old, hey, that's my homie kind of cut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go talk to blah, blah, blah. So,
I smell a butter.
right. So he rolls up and he finds his friend who's got apparently
Daughter has elephantitis.
elephantitis.
We are the same, she and I.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, kid?
You're trying to cut in line. My dad was.
You're a butter. You're a dirty line cutter.
Poor Stan.
So Stan does it again later. And this time, though, he encounters a police officer apparently who has a brother
Who's an alcoholic?
who's an alcoholic.
Hey, I smell a butter.
He did. That kid just cut in line.
Back of the line, butter.
I'm going to die.
Dad, we're going back.
What's going on here?
This kid's cutting in line.
Please, officer, you have to understand. I need a miracle way more than these people. I'm an alcoholic, and I'm powerless over it.
Powerless over.
I understand. My brother's an alcoholic. Here, let me push you to the front of the line. Oh, bless you, sir.
Bless you.
Even Stan and everybody's
Excuse
shocked.
me,
Like,
out of the way,
what?
please. Alcoholic coming through.
So he lines him up right behind
She's
the
beautiful.
Jesus anus. And then it spooges blood in his face. Apparently, he does not want to drink anymore now. Scoop, just that was it.
That's it. That's all it takes, honestly.
I'm
not gonna drink anymore.
going to drink this.
I'm not going to drink this.
To drink this. It's a miracle. I'm cured.
Like, nobody's, like, impressed.
Praise Jesus. Praise Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mother. Thank you. Thank you, God.
Like, nobody's impressed. Because, like, he had that power the whole time. And he just wasted everybody's time by getting blood spooged all over his face. You know what I'm saying?
Cutting in line.
So now Randy, as he next day,
Taking all Mormon. Looking like a Mormon missionary with his fresh cut, holding his Bible.
right, he wakes up the next morning. Hello, family. How's it going? Praise him. Praise Christ. And he sits down at breakfast. Praise him. And he looks at Stan and Shelly. Praise him. Praise him.
Praise Jesus.
Praise him. We should play that. That's pretty good. Praise him. Praise him.
Good morning, family. The Lord has truly blessed us with another beautiful day. It's just amazing. I haven't had a drink in 5 days. Praise Christ. Praise him.
Praise Christ. Praise Christ.
I've got another AA meeting today, and guess where it's going to be, Stan? At Whistlin' Willie's Pizza, so you can come with me.
No, Dad, all the guys are going to Kyle's house to watch the Bronco game. Kenny and Kyle's dads were hoping you'd come.
Stan, those people drink. I have new friends now. My AA friends.
My AA friends. I have new friends now. Praise Christ. So now, this part's good. So we jump over after this scene. And he basically makes Stan come with him to this Alcoholics Anonymous get-together at Whistling Willie's, as you heard. And so Stan's sitting there eating pizza, and then there's this other kid that's there, and he's pretty funny.
Boy, this lemonade is great. Who knew how fun being sober could be?
That's right.
Your dad doesn't drink either?
Yeah.
No, my dad doesn't drink. Does that mean we're friends?
I'd like to address the group if I
Does
may.
that mean we're friends?
Like, you know, there was kids like that growing up that you knew that were just like that.
Yeah, kind of.
You know. So it's interesting how the climax comes to this episode, though. It's the Pope eventually shows up to check out the Virgin Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes a deduction that she's actually not bleeding out of her asshole, her butt. She is bleeding out of her vagina.
Vagine.
And in this case, bleeding out of your vagina is not a miracle.
Because girls bleed out of their vaginas all the time.
Looney Tune style.
After witnessing the phenomenon firsthand, the Pope then cleaned himself off and then declared that the Bleeding Virgin Mary statue is not a miracle.
What?
Having investigated closely, the Pope determined that the blood was not coming from the Virgin Mary's ass, but rather from her vagina. And the Pope said, quote, "A chick bleeding out her vagina is no miracle.
I like how they
Chicks
make a
bleed
little
out their
news
vaginas
graphic.
all the time."
That's going to be our
Pope
background.
Benedict.
That's going to be our background.
That means I'm not cured.
I'm not
I still
good.
have the disease. Bartender, I need a drink. 3 shots of Macallan, 2 small bottles of vodka, 3 bottles of beer, and some Jello shooters. Come on, let's go.
Randy, what are you doing?
You heard what he said. The higher power didn't cure me. I'm powerless again.
I'm
I'm powerless too.
Yeah, me too.
Number 2.
Get me 7 martinis.
7 martinis.
Dad, stop!
That's technically like 7
Sorry,
shots.
son.
So.
I'm off the wagon.
Dad, you don't have to do this.
That's a lot of alcohol, though, just to be like, I'm going to order that. Gosh darn. Like, I can't even think about ordering more than one.
You have that many in an hour and a half. You're working out pretty good. The thing about when I was drinking heavy is I knew how long it took my metabolism to burn off a shot or a beer. And that was a horrible thing to know because I knew exactly how much I could drink and exactly how much and how long throughout the day. And that's bad because it usually took me about 35, maybe 40 if I was eating something to burn off one shot. Yeah. Hey, that's the advantages of being healthy.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Be healthy. Be happy.
Your body can burn off the alcohol much faster than a slower metabolism.
Here's a little song I wrote. Might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Be happy. Okay. So we get to the climax of this episode now as Randy's outside the parking lot and he throws down the alcohol after Stan convinces him that he lacks a discipline. And Stan's like, look, you don't have to stop drinking altogether. You just got to drink in moderation and pace yourself out and know when you have limits so that way you don't act like an idiot.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, Randy never learns from this.
You have the power. You haven't drank since seeing the statue.
But the statue wasn't a miracle.
Yeah, the statue wasn't a miracle, Dad. So that means you did it. That means you didn't have a drink for 5 days all on your own.
You're right, Stan. If God didn't make me stop drinking, then I did. Maybe I can force myself to never drink again.
No!
No?
No.
Dad, you like to drink. So have a drink once in a while. Have 2. If you devote your whole life to completely avoiding something you like, then that thing still controls your life.
Exactly.
You've never learned any discipline at all.
Yep.
But maybe I'm just the kind of person who needs to have it all or nothing.
Nah, all or nothing is easy. But learning to drink a little bit, responsibly, that's
That's
a discipline.
discipline.
Discipline come from within.
Come from within.
How did I manage to raise such a smart kid?
I've had a great teacher.
That's a great idea.
Thanks, son.
Thanks, son.
No, not you, my
Like,
karate
my
teacher.
karate
He's
teacher.
really smart.
He's really smart.
Well, tell you what. Let's leave the car here, walk home, and watch the game. I'd like to have another beer or 2.
All right.
Come on. Or maybe I'll have 3 beers.
That's probably okay if you spread it out.
Well, how about 4?
I think you're pushing it.
How about 20?
That's not discipline.
Right. Does vodka count?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your full episode recap this week on an emotional ending here on another edition of the Suck My Balls Recap South Park episode. We'll be back on the other side after we go to a word from our sponsors provided by Spreaker. And then we're going to discuss some trivia and continuity. We'll be right back. subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast, just type that in, subscribe to our feed, and you'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. And we are back once again. Shout out to our sponsors provided by Spreaker. Spreaker, you can go to Spreaker.com, set up your own podcast, and they'll hook you up. As long as people are, downloading and listening to the show, then you'll have people ready to go. And have people ready to help you. Mm-hmm. That's right. Scoop, did you want to lead a bit of the trivia we got here?
Sure thing. The episode's title is derived from the alcoholic drink of the same name. It is also based off the urban legend. Oh, that's funny. The leader at the front stand of Randy's Alcoholic Anonymous group is the same guy who is in charge of weight loss camp.
Fat camp. He got promoted. Good for him. Well, he maybe they excelled, right? Maybe he was so successful at the fat camp that he moved his way up the chain of different organizations.
At the beginning of the episode, Cartman wears a hankaki. This is a bandana that was commonly worn by Japanese kamikaze pilots during the late stages of World War II.
All right, nice.
Alcoholism was actually declared a disease by the AMA, American Medical Association, in 1956. In 1991, it was further dual classified by the International Classification of Diseases under the psychiatric and medical sections. This does not, however, mean Randy is a legitimate alcoholic. Australian network SBS decided to not air the episode after the backlash and protest against the episode. It was one of 3 episodes to be banned in Australia, the other 2 being 200 and 201.
Interesting.
Because they drink a lot over there.
Maybe.
I played WoW with 4 different Australian, man, they drank a lot. I remember trying to drink with them one night in a dungeon. We were doing this weird drinking game. Bro, I passed out on my keyboard. I was done. So there's some references to pop culture, baby. So the Bleeding Mary statue is a parody of the weeping statue phenomenon that has been claimed to occur on multiple statues in many years dating back to at least 1951. Wow. Wildly debunked, most of these weeping statues are the Virgin Mary. And the fourth wall break of the Pope raising his eyebrows at the audience is likely inspired by the Looney Tunes cartoon.
Of course, it was inspired by Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd when he's chasing Bugs Bunny, you know what I mean, type shit. Any type of thing. Controversy here, I'll read this one. The Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights condemned this episode for its treatment. See, I knew it was about Catholicism, for its treatment of the Virgin Mary. They demanded an apology to Roman Catholics and that this episode be permanently retired and not made available on DVD.
Wow.
In particular, they also demanded that Joseph A. Califano Jr., a member of Viacom's board of directors and a practicing Catholic, issue his own statement of condemnation. Califano did later release a statement calling the episode, quote, an appalling and disgusting portrayal of the Virgin Mary and pledged to have it reviewed. When Comedy Central subsequently re-aired all the episodes from season 9 in late 2005, Bloody Mary was noticeably absent from the broadcast. Australian network SBS did not air the episode at all. However, the episode eventually did air on SBS Viceland, which maybe is like their Australian Vice. And several countries also refused to air this episode, including Russia.
I mean, that's probably a given. Russia doesn't even let them have real social media.
I think it's more really about the Virgin Mary thing than the alcohol thing is really what it is. I think these are more religious, secular countries that really are into that information, I guess, so it's offensive, I guess. Last couple things here. Stan references trapped in the closet when he says, of course, he was the leader of a cult. And Randy can be seen drinking Schmor's schnapps, which, of course, that was a reference to the Red Badge of Gayness episode that you can go back and listen to. Cecilia's General Colonel A.R. Common. Your son Kenny has taken death on the battlefield. Know that his death is not in vain. As I will march to Topeka, and I will beat those guys, Stan and Kyle, because I hate him very, very much. Yours. Anyway. There was pretty much some hidden visitors here. We'll do one more thing. When Randy Marsh is going to visit the Bloody Mary statue, a visitor is seen through the rear window of his car. The visitor appears to have been removed in the HD version of this episode.
I see it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right there. So that's your full recap, trivia, pop culture, continuity references, and more. So Scoop, what'd you think of this episode?
I think this episode, for me, in my opinion, is a classic. It's definitely in the top. I'll give it the top 75, maybe 80. It's the satire in this episode is pretty fucking great. You know, the way that they portray the AA, or if you like really wanted to break it down into this most simplistic form, yeah, that's basically what it is. You know, making your powerless, finding a higher power, believing in, getting all that. And then the Virgin Mary, and then the whole backstory of that Lee getting that pissed, petitioning that hard, condemning this episode so much, getting one of the people from fucking, what was it, Sony or Viacom, whoever it was, to try and condemn this episode and have it reviewed by Comedy Central. Like, jeez, man, it's a joke. Like, I hope people like that don't ever go to stand up because they'd be leaving pissed off.
Yeah, and in fairness, they had already made fun of Scientology this season, so it was only natural that they had to go after another one. And they made fun of the Mormons in the prior season. So, I feel like it's only fair they're going after every single religion. Some of them more the fact Scientology being obviously grossly obscene in regards to the fact that they manipulate people into giving them over their life savings and money and then separating them from their families versus, Catholicism. I can see how it can be helpful and it could be considered one of the oldest religions. So why wouldn't you follow it if you were going to follow something? But even then, they've had their own blight on history, whether it be the sexual scandals in the churches, as well as just like any other church. They control your life, right? You need to give them a condemnation. You have to, say you're against this kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of ridiculous. Especially when I guess when maybe those people get up higher into the church too. Mm-hmm. Now they got a spot to protect and they're probably banging little boys. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that this is probably in my top 100. I like this episode. It's probably not like one of my favorites though. It's good. It's a funny episode. It was a good wrap up of season 9 for sure. Mm-hmm. I liked it that they went more of a lighter. Well, I guess it wasn't lighter. They went right after Catholicism.
Right after it, man.
In the regards to how Catholicism holds some of these individuals like the Virgin Mary in such a high regard, right? As the individual who birthed Jesus Christ, which reality of human form and mankind doesn't make sense, but I guess we're going to believe that.
Immaculate.
I don't know.
Whatever, faith is faith.
Somebody else banged Mary and fucking Joseph didn't know. And now she's the Virgin Mary.
Baby came out black. Skin of bronze, hair of sheep's wool. That dude was black. Jesus was black.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Joseph is standing there his dick is bigger than mine. What the fuck?
A little weird. If we think about just like how babies are born. I don't know. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for another edition of Check My Balls. Check my balls. Check my balls, gobble. Suck My Balls. South Park review, now available on all podcast platforms. It's always been there. All you have to do is download it. Just look for it. Suck My Balls. We've got now apparently 142 episodes with this in the can, where you can go back and listen to now the first 9 season reviews of this freaking glorious show. As we have officially almost got we have now passed the 1/3 mark of this series.
Yep, that's pretty. It's pretty impressive.
It's just a lot. But we'll be back next week for Return of the Chef. It is a very good episode. But unfortunately, Chef gets killed off in Anakin Star Wars style. He's gonna come back from his fruity little club, which is code for Scientology again. But we'll be back next week for that and the Return of the Chef. Scoop, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Be kind. Stockpile water.
See, this is where you should have said all the water stuff. Now go ahead. Just go ahead. Go.
Yeah, hey, where it's at the point where you can't ignore it, We can't just sit on our phone. That fucking movie with Jonah Hill and the meteor coming down and people like having the opportunity to fix it or maybe stop it. No, we're staring at our phones and we don't give a fuck until it's going to be too late. When people start getting water rations, oh, you only get 3 gallons a day, or not even that, you only get 5 gallons a week. People are going to, you know, like Arizona is already down to almost 40% of its extra water gone. California is struggling. Like once the Colorado River reaches Deadpool levels, like there's going to be no water coming out of it. And that's a lot of water for a lot of people. And
so conserve your flushes, stockpile on water.
Take a shower every other day. Like you won't be that stinky. You won't be that gross. Like it's really not that big of a deal.
Or just take a quick rinse. If you need something, just jump in really quick, 30, 60 seconds, jump back out, dry yourself off.
Yeah, we all got to do our part at this point. Like it's getting to the point where it's almost too little too late. And, you know, we all got to do our part.
Sounds like we might need to move north for water. It's always raining there. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to our boy, the dirtiest, the J-iest, the doctor of thugonomics, punkonomics, hydrophonics, botany, love, despair, and other forms of sensitive nature that comes with being a human, Joe Vernola. You can follow him on, I believe it's on Twitter at JAV Vernola, and then on Instagram at JV Vernola. If you want to get all the information, check out Primo's Pro Wrestling. Primo's Pro Wrestling. Primo's Pro Wrestling's next upcoming event, I think they've got 2 big upcoming events. The one I know off the top of my head, though, is called Slave to the Death Match. It's their annual death match, I guess, tournament scoop, where in one night, all these different men come together and they just go crazy. They just get together and they just beat up people. And if you are interested and you live in the Colorado, or even if you don't, if you just live in the region and you're like, you know what? I think I want to freaking like see some wrestling. You should go check out Primo's Pro Wrestling. They're at Primo's Wrestling on Facebook. They got a Labor Day sale going on right now if you want to get some t-shirts for them. And yeah, Slave to Death Match 13. So go check it out. That's the tickets. It's September the 17th through the 18th. In Denver, Colorado. 2 nights at the Racksa Theater, 2549 Welton Road. That's 2549 Welton Road, Denver, Colorado. And you can get yourself your Slave to the Deathmatch craziness here. It's kind of crazy as we're looking at this here. I'm a little freaked out. Joe, I don't know what you're going to do here. There's a murder box. You see that, Joe? It's a scoop murder box. It's crazy. I'm a little feared. There's an old lady. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, Primo's Pro Wrestling. We'll see you next week on another edition of Suck My Balls. Shout out to our boy, the Trivia God, Joe Vernola.
Suck my balls. 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 Suck my balls.